We didn't play that well on Saturday. A lot had to do that. I thought Iowa played, their offensive line did a great job. But when you go back and look at it on film, it did surprise me to see how our execution wasn't very good, and then you know, we got out physicaled on defense, and that doesn't happen very often. So give them credit because they came out and did a nice job at the line of scrimmage, and yet even playing that way, we were in the battle, but we didn't make the plays when we needed to. We had a couple opportunities even as late as the first play in the fourth quarter, where if had we make an intercept right there on the one play where Varma came up and hit that screen to, or that hitch to Keenan, you know, and then Keenan made a great play, got hit, got the ball and went down, then they scored right there. So all in all, you know, not pleased with the game because I didn't think we played very well, but at the same time I thought Iowa played very well, and that was the difference when you put those two together of the outcome. Any questions?
Coach, at Wisconsin, you talked a lot about third downs, defense able to get off the field, offense extend drives. That kind of swung back against you against Iowa, where there was a pretty big disparity on the third downs.
Yeah, we did. Like I said, our defense did not play well. We didn't on any down, honestly. I mean, not to the level that we should play, and it started with their offensive line. Their offensive line was very good, and they did some good things throughout the whole game. I mean, their intensity of play was very high, and that probably was the difference. I don't care what down it was, first or third. It was. I thought that intensity of we didn't match that intensity at the line of scrimmage, and then of course we missed some tackles down in the open field. But it started at the line of scrimmage, and you got to win that if you're going to have a chance in any game.
Mark,
go ahead.
You mentioned a couple of injuries. Excuse me, after the game on Saturday. Anything you can tell us about some of the guys that got hurt?
No. Well, right now the list I got earlier today was Zach Cutcomp and Jordan Gakey, and are questionable right now. We're waiting to see what comes back this afternoon from the reports. And then Max Busher is the third one that is questionable as well. His is a little bit different. His is an ankle, but the other two are knees. So we'll find out about those. They usually take a little longer to analyze.
Mark, now that it's over in retrospect, the Wisconsin and Iowa games, you glad you played them, regret you played them, how do you feel now, having played two tough, physical Big Ten teams like that?
Well, I'll go back with, it's the right thing to do for this particular, for our department right now. It was, when that decision was made, and it was the right thing to do for the right reasons. And then after playing them, because we're going to play who they ask us to play, and we're going to play them. And I felt that we did we did as I expected, but I want to do more than that. We wanted to take them, you know, into the last play, into the last series, and I think we did that to Wisconsin, and we didn't get there that far with Iowa. We got into the fourth quarter, but we didn't. We were in the battle, but you know, we were scrambling at that game. So I'm pleased with our way of play, but it just makes you're disappointed because when they're all said and done, you had your opportunities in both games and then convert your opportunities. And you know, those are two good football teams, and it was probably a more physical football game at Iowa than it was at Wisconsin, which is I didn't expect. So that was probably the biggest difference. And you know, the intensity of the Iowa game was probably more so than what was at the Wisconsin game, both from all aspects of the game.
The offense looked really good right out of the gate to start, a little tougher in the second half. Did you attribute that to Iowa making defensive adjustments at halftime, or was it something with the execution of the offense in the second half?
Well, anytime your own team doesn't execute right, a lot has to do with your opponent, what they're doing. I would say this: I thought that, and we were driving the ball for the most part, as I recall the game and watched the game. If you know, we had a lot of moments there on some of our drives that we would get a holding penalty or we made an error once we got across the 50-yard line. but I think we only punted 2 or 3 times in the football game as the day. I think they only punted 2 or 3 times. So I think both offenses were moving the ball, you know, in different ways throughout the day, and then the defenses had their moments, and they were more, I don't know, they had control of the game in the second half. I thought the game was going back and forth in the first half, but I thought they got control of the game in the second half when they made that play in the second play and hit that kid in the seam for the touchdown. I thought that kind of swung momentum towards them, and from that moment on, we were kind of scrambling, you know, to get back in the thick of things. We weren't out of it by any means, but it just didn't feel like we gained control because we couldn't gain control of the line of scrimmage. And it probably had a lot to do with what they were doing on defense and on offense to do so.
You had concerns last week with the running game. Is it closer to where you want it coming out of that game? Because David looked good. There were times that it looked pretty good.
I know the running game got better last week. It had to. I think we did that on the first play, and we did it for the most part, even in the second half. You know, the drive that we took down there where we had a chance to go in and get it within 2, I think it was, or within 8, I'm sorry, whatever the score was. We were driving the ball, and then David was taking us for the most part down there, and then we had a holding penalty, and that kind of moved us back, and we took the field goal instead of the touchdown, and that hurt us at that time as well. I think that was late in the third quarter, if I remember right. So those are the plays you got to make, and you know, that holding penalty hurt us because, you know, you're only going to get so many opportunities to move the ball against a very good team, and you got to make them. You got to make 7 points, get 7 points when those opportunities present themselves, and that's why I go back to the moments we controlled, and that was one of them. So we ran the ball better. We still need to be more consistent on both sides of the ball, you know, but more so, just more consistent, you know, of controlling that line of scrimmage. It all goes back to that.
Mark, with the start of the conference race now and in the playoffs ultimately, do you feel like you're behind the 8 ball a little bit? You could go 6-2 in the conference, have a nice year, go 6-2, but be 7-4, and holding your breath, wondering you'll make the playoffs or not. Are you a little nervous about how it's shaping up at this point?
Yeah, I'm concerned that, you know, I'm concerned of what our, you know, we're 1-2, and that's what I'm concerned about. Is we're 1-2, and we're going to Youngstown, and so yeah, our backs are against the wall. There's no question. I knew that coming into the season. So, you know, we have to find a way, and you know, this is our schedule, this is our team, and we're gonna line up and find a way. And that's what our purpose is this week, is to find a way, because we're gonna have to make some adjustments. There's no question with the injuries we took, and then also with the way that they're playing. I mean, Youngstown's playing very, very well right now and very confident in getting to play at home. So, you know, we've got our work cut out to try to find a way to get the right players on the field and to get the right plan together, you know, for this football game.
The game last year that went on, excuse me, to the final minute, how much better is Youngstown this year, and in what areas?
I think Youngstown, you know, most games that we played with them has gone down to the final minute, but Youngstown right now is, you know, they've got 10 returning starters from last year on offense. It's the offensive group. I mean, they beat North Dakota State and North Dakota State last year, so. And they came in here and did a great job on back-to-back weeks. So they're very solid at what they're doing. They've had the same group of players, same coaches back from that group. So they've even added a couple weapons on top of that. So their running back is excellent. They've got good receivers so they can spread the field. So what makes them very good is their ability to score points. And then they hired a new defensive coordinator this summer, and I think that has helped them also, you know, solidify and get more consistency than what they had on defense. But I think also their offense is carrying them right now because they're scoring a lot of points.
Mark, your quarterback, Wolford's a 3-year starter. How's his skills changed over the 3 years that you've had to face him?
Well, he's in the right offense that fits him. He's a lot more comfortable in the pocket, throwing the ball well, gets himself out of trouble and can run for some first downs. But he stays in the pocket and he throws, and he does a nice job running the offense because every play is called from the sideline. I mean, they get up. It's a no-huddle offense, but it's not a hurry-up. It's see what the defense is in, get the right adjustment, and then go to the line of scrimmage and call the play and get the best play for what you're going to be defended by. So he's much more comfortable running that offense, so it's a much smoother running offense, which in turn makes it more consistent.
as far as the schedule goes in the future, if the same opportunity arises, if Wisconsin will play or some other Big Ten team in the same year that you're playing Iowa, or you'd be playing Iowa State anyway, but would you accept that, setting the money issue aside, would you accept that challenge in the future?
If there wasn't a financial situation, a financial question involved with it, then I'd weigh it totally differently. I'd weigh the thought process totally differently. But you know, that's always a big part of it, and we know it. So it really is my feeling that we'll play whoever we're asked to play. I feel like we can play with anybody, but we have to beat some of these teams now. If we're going to play 2 in a year, we're going to have to beat one of them and then get ourselves in a better position. So that's what I'd say is if you get 2 of them, we got to find to beat one of them. And I was hoping to get one or the other of the Wisconsin or the Iowa one, even though that was a huge task at hand. But I really thought we had a 50-50 chance of getting one or the other, and I think we played that way. We came down the wire on for the most part both games, but you know it didn't fall in our direction. So now we've got to find a way to do a great job within our league.
Coach, talk about as you enter conference play this week, the biggest adjustments and things that you need to fix from your perspective with your team as you enter conference play.
I think the fixing, there's not a lot you can fix when you got to line up in 3 days and go to Youngstown. So I'll have to wait till the open date to fix anything. But right now we will have to make some adjustments to utilize the players to get the most out of their strengths. And I think that's the biggest adjustment and decisions we have to make this week is we do have a great evaluation of our players playing those 2 games. So we need to find a way to use their strengths with the players that we have to give them the best opportunity to win. And I think that's what I did wrong against Iowa. Didn't get them lined up right to give them the best chance to win down there defensively.
If Gakey and Cutcomp and Busher can't go this week, is there somebody, you pull a red shirt off? That's a lot of linebackers in there. Is there something you'll have to do personnel-wise? Do you move somebody into that spot? Or?
Yeah, well, that's the question at hand right now because, you know, we also have Shaw, Nate Shaw. He's still not out there because he suffered a concussion back in camp that he hasn't practiced since. So, you know, we're dealing with some of those things right now, but we'll figure it out. I mean, it's not our first rodeo. So, you know, we've been hurt before. We'll figure something out, and we'll find a way. It's just I've been messing with it for a couple of days now, waiting to see what the outcome was. But you know, we've got good players. I just got to find a way to get the right ones on the field at the same time.
Mark, with the Wildcat formation, was that specific for Iowa that you maybe saw something, or do you like that going forward as well?
Well, I've always liked it here because we spent 2 years in that offense with Terrell at quarterback. So our offense knows that system very, very well. So it's real easy to implement that because it's 2 years worth of work into it. Yet I think we've got a very fine quarterback that we can throw the football with. So he's not the kind of quarterback that's going to run that kind of system, but yet we've got so much invested over the years that I thought it was something we could do very easily with not a lot of practice time spent towards it and get ready for any particular game that fits, you know, a way to get a couple extra points or to do something different on offense. So I thought we did a good job on that. The play that, you know, the 3rd and 1, I was disappointed on that. There was a 3rd and 1 out there that I thought that's another play that we should have made. And we didn't get the first down right there. And you need to get the first, I think that was about midfield in the 3rd quarter too or something like that. We needed to make that play and continue that drive too. And at that particular time, that Wildcat did not work. But for the most part, we got the yards that we needed down by the end zone to score.
So after 3 weeks, what kind of a football team do you think you have, Mark?
An inconsistent one. We're not consistent. We did a real good job on defense at Wisconsin. Average job on offense. At Iowa, we did an average job on defense, and I thought a good job on offense. The middle game you can't really measure, so that tells you what your backups are. So right now we're inconsistent but a lot of inconsistency due to that you just play two very good opponents. So, you know, we looked at what we can do, but at the end, you know, they were dictating some of the things of what we were measuring because of their play on the other side of the ball. That line of scrimmage is golden in any game, and we just played two very good teams, so hopefully we'll be a better team for it, lining up against Youngstown.
12th year you've went against this Youngstown State program. Is this their best team that you think you've had to prepare for, Coach?
I'll say that it's the best team every year, but they are, you know what, what makes them good right now, I haven't really studied everything about them so far, but I know this. I think their coaching staff has got them in a mindset that they haven't had in a while, and I think that plays a lot in any game. If your players are playing with the right mindset, I think you can play and play with anybody anytime. And if he can go to Pittsburgh and win down there, and went in North Dakota State, he came in here, gave us a run. I mean, they're just playing with the right attitude, and that always gives you a chance. I mean, that's how we've made a living on that here forever. So talent-wise, I think they're very, very good. I can't tell you what level that is right now, but I do know they're a better team because of their mindset.
Mark, Tyler Severson continues to perform at a very high level. What is it about that kid that, I mean, he's 22 out of 24 now, career field?
You know, that was what was great about the whole day was, you know, Tyler hit that long field goal and basically told the team going in, we were going to have to get an intercept, have to rush the football, and we were going to have to kick a long field goal. And he hit that first long field goal, the 54, 52, or whatever it was, but it really wasn't a decision whether to kick it or not. That was within his range, and there was a little breeze blowing too. So I was actually hoping it was going to die a little bit, but I think he kicked it when it was blowing his hardest. So, but he nailed it. It was a good kick, and you know, it is so nice to be able to know that you could score once you get around that 30-yard line. I mean, you're going to come away with some type of points for the most part. And Tyler has been consistent his whole career for us, and he's made himself into that. You would have never known that as he came through as a freshman. So all credit goes to him for what he's made himself into. And then you go back to Kyle Bernard and Hubbard. I think if you mention one, you have to mention all three, because Kyle Bernard had those two long punts, really changed field possession for us. And on top of that, John Hubbard makes it all go, because without a good snap, there's no rhythm in the kick and there's no rhythm in the punt. So the three of them are such a great unit, and they're all about the same age. So if you came to a practice, all you see these guys do is they work for 2.5 hours on kicking. Whether it's the hold, you know, they'll spend 15 minutes on the catch and hold, not even kicking it, just making sure it's lined up right and tilted right and seams are right, and they work hard at it. It just doesn't happen. Those guys work hard at it. Anybody else? All right, thanks.